Hi Reddit. Buckle up, because this is either going to sound like a soap opera or financial horror story, maybe both. I'm 29F. I've always been the responsible one in the family. The planner. The spreadsheet girl. Meanwhile, my mom, Donna 54F, is the human equivalent of a QVC binge session with no checkout limit. Over the last 10 years, I've watched her go into debt for everything from anti-aging face creams to 3 different, life-changing, online business courses she never finished. She once spent $600 on a custom Italian wine rack, even though she doesn't drink. Her bedroom is basically a hoarder's paradise, stuffed with unopened packages and weird gadgets she doesn't remember ordering. Every time she fell behind on her credit card payments, there'd be some dramatic excuse. I needed it for my mental health, or they tricked me into buying it, or my personal favorite, I thought I canceled it. She's the kind of person who doesn't read the fine print but insists the universe is out to get her. Anyway, 3 years ago she racked up $8,000 in credit card debt. She was getting sued by the collections agency and she called me crying, swearing she didn't understand how it got that bad. I was younger and dumber then. I paid it off. Every single cent. I even negotiated the payoff amount and helped close the account. But I didn't do it blindly. We talked about it. I made her promise, pinky swear level, teary-eyed, full-on Lifetime movie vibes, that she wouldn't take out any more credit, any more loans, nothing. She agreed. She said, "You've saved me. I'll never put you in that position again." I believed her. Fast forward to last summer. I'd finally saved up enough to buy a used car. Nothing fancy, a reliable Honda, cash up front. But when I went to check my credit score because I was considering financing a small portion of it, I saw something strange. My score had dropped by over 120 points since the last time I checked. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I hadn't missed any payments. I didn't even use credit that much. But then I saw the red flags. There was a credit card in my name, one I never applied for. Opened almost 11 months ago. Balance? Over $11,000. Limit? Maxed out. Payments? Delinquent. Interest? Through the roof. I was shaking. I filed a fraud report that same night. I froze all 3 credit bureaus. I requested the original application and transaction history from the issuing bank. And that's when my heart sank. The shipping address? My mom's house. The first few purchases? QVC. Cosmetics. Some self-help money magnet seminar. Even a Peloton, which I remembered her bragging about scoring on discount last Christmas. She didn't even try to hide it. I confronted her 2 days later. I didn't yell. I was too stunned. I just asked why. Why did you open a credit card in my name? And do you know what she said? She laughed. Then she said, "I knew you'd find out eventually. But you helped me last time, right? So I figured it'd be okay. You're good with money. You'll fix it. No apology. No shame. Just this calm, infuriating assumption that I'd swoop in again and clean up the mess. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood up, walked to the door, and told her I was reporting it. Her eyes widened. Like that was the part she hadn't expected. "You wouldn't do that," she said. "To your own mother?" "Oh," I said, "I absolutely would." I filed an official identity theft report. I submitted a police report. I contacted the bank's fraud department. I had to sign affidavits, mail in notarized documents, even speak to a detective. I was lucky since I caught it early and had proof. The debt was removed from my report, though my score is still recovering. But I didn't stop there. I froze every account I had that she could possibly access. I removed her from my cell phone family plan. I cut off the emergency Venmo link she'd been using to ask for small loans. I even checked my social security report. Thank God, she hadn't gone that far. And then came Facebook. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my cousin Janelle. She was livid. "Why didn't you tell us your mom's sick?" "What?" She posted a whole thing on Facebook. Said you cut her off. Said you're letting her go hungry. That she's been abandoned by her only child during a health crisis. I checked the post. Sure enough, there it was. A grainy photo of her looking sad, wrapped in a blanket, with this long, dramatic caption. "It's hard when your own daughter turns her back on you. I'm sick, struggling, and she won't even answer my calls. I never asked for anything, just a little help from someone I gave my whole life to. But some people value money over family. Broken art." The comments were a dumpster fire. My Aunt Pamela wrote she always was cold. My Uncle Ronald chimed in, disgusting what kids do to their parents these days. Even people I didn't know were saying things like, "She deserves better." And now? Half my family won't speak to me. The other half sends me guilt-trippy texts. And my mom? She's pretending like she's the victim in all this. After my mom's melodramatic Facebook post, my phone exploded. I got texts, DMs, even voicemails, which no one under 50 uses anymore. Cousins I hadn't spoken to since high school suddenly had strong opinions about my cold heart. My Aunt Carol sent me a prayer chain email complete with a photo of Jesus crying and the subject line, "Don't let the devil steal your compassion." And the kicker? Mom was loving every second of it. She responded to every comment on her post with weepy emojis and phrases like, "I never thought she'd turn out like this, and I don't know what I did wrong." She even added a second post 2 days later with a GoFundMe link. Title? Help a sick mom rebuild after being betrayed. She set the goal at $15,000. And somehow people were actually donating. I felt like I was living in a parallel universe. She had literally stolen $11,000 using my name, tanked my credit, and was now profitably spinning the story like I'd abandoned her for no reason. It wasn't just infuriating, it was insulting. But the real punch to the gut came from my grandma, her mom. I love Grandma June. She helped raise me when my dad bailed when I was 5. She taught me how to make banana bread from scratch, never missed a birthday, and always called me her rock. So when she called and said we needed to talk, I answered, even though I knew what was coming. Her voice was soft but firm. "Sweetheart, I'm not saying what she did was right, but she's still your mother." I sighed. "Grandma, she committed identity theft." "That's not a mistake, it's a crime. She's been under a lot of stress lately. You know she's not good with money. And now she's not eating. Says she can barely get out of bed. She's manipulating everyone. She's posting online like I'm starving her. Maybe you should have helped her before it got this far. You have more than she does." That's when I snapped, not loud, not rude, but cold. Clinical. "Grandma, if a stranger had done this to me, they'd be in jail. But because it's my mom, I'm supposed to just accept it? Would you let someone ruin your credit and beg for more while dragging your name through the mud?" There was a long pause. Then she said, very quietly, "I just don't want to lose the family." That stung. Because in that one sentence, she told me everything. This wasn't about what was right, it was about keeping the peace. About enabling my mother's pattern of chaos, denial, and drama. Like always. I ended the call and cried for the first time since this all began. The next week, I met with a lawyer. I wasn't suing my mom, not yet, but I wanted every legal shield possible. He was blunt. "What your mother did is a felony. Fraud, identity theft, abuse of personal information. If you press charges, she could go to jail." I asked what it would cost to take her to small claims just to recover the money. He gave me a quote. But then he asked something I wasn't expecting. "Do you want to take this further? Or are you just trying to stop her from doing it again?" And that broke me a little. Because the truth is, I didn't want revenge. I wanted my mom to feel the weight of what she did. I wanted her to apologize, not just for the fraud, but for the way she played the victim. For making me the villain in her sad little soap opera. For acting like I owed her my silence, my credit, and my dignity. But she wasn't sorry. In fact, when I finally confronted her one last time, face to face, she doubled down. I met her at a local diner. Neutral territory. She walked in wearing sunglasses and acting like she was on her way to church. She smiled like nothing had happened. I skipped the small talk. "I know about the GoFundMe," I said. She shrugged. "It's for my medical bills." "You don't have medical bills. You have a Peloton, 2 unopened air fryers, and $600 in essential oils." Her smile twitched, but she kept her voice sweet. "I have anxiety. That's a health issue." I leaned in. "You committed fraud. You stole from me. And now you're lying to everyone about it. Why?" And then, like it was the most obvious answer in the world, she said, "Because you wouldn't help me." I blinked. "What?" "I didn't want to do it. But you made it clear I couldn't count on you anymore. I was desperate. You don't understand what it's like being alone. You're not alone. You just can't stop spending." "It's not spending. It's surviving." She sounded proud of that line, like it was some clever defense. Then she said, "And besides, you're my daughter. I gave you life. So what if I borrowed a little back?" I paid for my own coffee, walked out, and blocked her number the second I hit my car. I've since submitted final paperwork to protect my credit legally. I've notified my HR at work, flagged my SSN for monitoring, and hired a credit watch service. My score's slowly climbing back. My car plan is delayed but not dead. But I still get the text. Still get tagged in pity posts. And at least 3 family members have told me I'm a monster for leaving her to suffer. Let me just say this. If you've never had a family group chat rename itself to Emergency Donna Discussion, count your blessings. 2 days after the diner showdown, I got added to a group thread with half the maternal side of the family. My phone buzzed 13 times in a row before I could silence it. I tapped in and immediately regretted it. Group chat name. Donna Deserves Better, Broken Heart. Members. Aunt Patrice, Uncle Drew, Cousin Ashley, Cousin Ty, Cousin Brianna, Great Aunt Lorraine. And to my horror, my mom herself. The first message was from Aunt Patrice. "You need to fix this. She's family. What you're doing is cruel." Followed by Cousin Ashley. She told me you locked her out of her own bank account? Is that even legal? Then Lorraine, the dramatic elder of the bunch. This is elder abuse. I'm going to say it. And then my mom, ever the victim. I didn't ask for much. Just a little help from my child. If loving my daughter is a crime, I guess I'm guilty. That one nearly gave me an aneurysm. I stared at my phone, heart racing, fingers twitching. I debated for a long time whether to reply. But I couldn't keep letting her control the narrative. So I typed back carefully. She committed identity theft. She opened a credit card in my name, racked up $11,000 and didn't pay a dime. I had to report her to protect myself. That's not abuse, that's survival. For a few seconds, nothing. Then the typing bubbles lit up like a slot machine. Ashley, so you turned your mom into the cops? Are you serious? Uncle Drew. That's jail-worthy stuff. You'd really do that to your own mother? Then came Brianna, my cousin who works in finance, thank God, with the voice of reason. Wait. That's actual fraud. You could have gotten sued. Or denied a mortgage. You're lucky it didn't affect your job. I work with clients who get ruined by this. And just like that, cracks in the Donna cult started forming. But it wasn't over. Because about 20 minutes later, a new screenshot dropped into the chat. It was my mom's GoFundMe page. And someone, I still don't know who, had commented under it with a bombshell. Interesting. If this is about medical bills, why did you buy a Peloton, a Louis Vuitton DuPaul, and a ticket to a Tony Robbins seminar last fall? All on a credit card that wasn't even yours? Boom. It was like someone lit a match in a fireworks store. The chat went silent. Then someone changed the group name to Donna. And then my mom left the chat. Not long after, the GoFundMe was taken down. Quietly. No explanation. But the damage was done. A few family members, including Brianna, privately messaged me apologies. I didn't know it was that serious. Sorry I doubted you. She always had spending issues, but this is next level. Others ghosted me. No texts. No likes. No birthday wishes this year. One uncle sent me a Bible verse. Just the reference, no context. Luke 15 verses 11 to 32. Yes. The prodigal son. I guess he sees my mom as the stray lamb and me as the judgmental older brother. Whatever. But not everyone let it go. Aunt Patrice called me 3 times in 1 week. I finally picked up out of exhaustion. Sweetheart, she said in that fake calm voice Southern women use before detonating. Have you even thought about what she's going through? Her anxiety? Her loneliness? She stole from me, Patrice. She made a mistake. She made a choice. A deliberate, premeditated choice. She's your mother, not a criminal. I nearly laughed. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Then came the kicker. If you don't fix this, she could lose everything. Her home. Her car. Her support network. I didn't break those things, I said. She did. And then she snapped. You're acting like some cold corporate lawyer. She raised you. She sacrificed for you. I hung up. Because here's the thing no one in my family wants to admit. Donna never sacrificed. She spent. On herself. On illusions. On temporary highs that left other people cleaning up her mess. She used people's pity like currency and drama like oxygen. And the second someone drew a boundary, she painted herself as the dying matriarch on a Hallmark movie poster. But I wasn't buying it anymore. After the fallout, I got a certified letter in the mail. From a community legal advocate. Not a lawyer. Just someone representing Donna's rights. Inside was a plea to reconsider the reported fraud and avoid escalation that may result in irreversible family division. It was handwritten, sloppy, and reeked of desperation. I knew my mom had written it herself. I didn't reply. I've since updated every password, flagged my SSN with extra security, and even installed credit alerts for any financial activity linked to my name. I set up a will. I made a no-contact folder in my inbox just to filter anything from her. But emotionally, that's still messy, because there are days I wonder if I overreacted, if I was too cold, if I should have just eaten the dead again and kept the family peace. And then I remember, you gave me life. So what if I borrowed a little back? That wasn't desperation. That was entitlement. That was intentional. You know that sinking feeling when you think the worst is over, only to realize you're barely halfway through the storm? That was me, sitting in a plastic chair at the local branch of a credit monitoring agency, flipping through printouts of every inquiry, every loan, and every account ever tied to my social security number. I decided to go all in on my financial cleanup, full forensic level. Not just freeze my credit and dispute the $11,000 fraud. I wanted to make sure there wasn't some other ticking time bomb out there. And that's when I found it. 2 months before she opened the big card, the one I already knew about, my mom had applied for a loan in my name. $5,000. Denied. The lender flagged it for inconsistent employment history. But still, the attempt was there, hidden in the hard inquiry section like a roach under a fridge. My stomach dropped. I flipped again. Found another attempt from a cash advance site. Then another for a department store credit card. None of them had gone through. But she tried. Multiple times. This wasn't a one-off moment of desperation. This was a pattern. Process. She'd been experimenting with using my identity long before she got away with it. That realization broke something in me. Because even after everything, the fraud, the Facebook pity circus, the GoFundMe, some small naive part of me wanted to believe it had been a moment of panic. A bad decision. A shameful slip. But no. It was intentional. Planned. And worst of all, it was practiced. I sat in my car after the appointment for 40 minutes, just staring out the windshield, watching people walk in and out of stores like everything was normal, like there wasn't a woman out there, biologically my mother, casually playing roulette with my entire financial future. And then out of pure fury, I drove to her house. I wasn't planning to talk. I wasn't planning to yell. I wanted to see for myself if there was even a trace of remorse. She opened the door barefoot, wearing pajama pants with little wine glasses on them, and in its wine o'clock somewhere t-shirt. Her house smelled like cinnamon candles and sadness. Piles of unopened Amazon packages were stacked near the entryway. One of them literally said impulse purchase kit on the side. I didn't even know that was a real product. She looked surprised to see me. Wow, she said. Didn't expect you. I stepped inside without asking. Did you apply for 3 different loans in my name last year? She blinked. Excuse me. You heard me. She sighed. That was before we had our agreement. You weren't even using your credit like that. And I thought maybe it would help if I paid one off before. You knew it was wrong. Her eyes flashed. Don't talk to me like I'm a criminal. I just stared. You are. Silence. Then she shrugged and walked into the kitchen like she was done. As if I just called her out for borrowing my sweater without asking. That's what killed me. The indifference. The casualness of it all. You were testing it, I said. Seeing how far you could go. You applied 3 times and got denied, and then you found a bank that didn't look closely and just approved it. That wasn't an accident. She turned slowly, holding a mug of tea like we were having a therapy session. You always did have a flair for drama. And that's when I finally lost it. No. You used me. You risked my job, my ability to rent, to buy a home, to get a loan. You pretended to be me, knowing full well what you were doing. And now you've turned the entire family against me for doing the bare minimum to protect myself. What kind of mother does that? She sipped her tea. I thought you were stronger than this. No apology. No guilt. Just that same old Donna delusion, that her needs trump logic, legality, or loyalty. That her intentions somehow cleanse her actions of consequence. I left. I didn't slam the door. Didn't scream. I just walked out and haven't seen her since. The next few weeks were a blur of damage control. I sent written statements to every financial institution linked to my SSN, formally revoking any account I didn't open. I placed a permanent fraud alert on my credit file. I created a password-protected PIN with the IRS because guess what? Identity thieves love tax return season. I even signed up for a legal protection service just in case she tried anything new. But emotionally, the cleanup was harder. I felt untethered. Like my entire sense of familial loyalty had been force-fed through a paper shredder. Friends asked how I was doing. I lied and said fine. In reality, I was grieving. Because Donna wasn't gone, not in the literal sense, but the idea of her, the hope that maybe someday she'd change, or at least take accountability, that was dead. Then came the letter. It arrived without a return address, the handwriting clearly hers. Inside was a single page, front and back, written in purple pen. She called it an open-hearted reflection. It opened with, I wish you'd stop acting like I murdered someone. She went on to say she'd been pushed to extremes, that you'll understand one day when you're a mother, and that what you did hurt me more than I can ever explain. And then this gem. If you'd just let me explain earlier, none of this would have happened. There it was again. The classic Donna pivot. Turn herself into the victim, reposition the blame, and rewrite history in her favor. She signed it. With love and some sadness. Mom. No apology. No accountability. Just a passive-aggressive guilt grenade. I didn't respond. I never will. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that going no contact with your mom isn't a clean break, it's 1,000 little cuts. After the open-hearted reflection letter, I knew I was done. That letter wasn't closure, it was a trap. Donna doesn't apologize. She rewrites. Repackages. And if you're not careful, you end up back in the same mess with a new bow on it. So I made the decision, full no contact. No more messages. No more calls. No more playing the reluctant daughter dragged back into her endless spiral of chaos. I blocked her number. Blocked her Facebook. Blocked her burner Facebook. Blocked her dog's Facebook. Yes, she had one. I scrubbed my contact info from anything we'd ever shared: utilities, Amazon family plans, Netflix, even my Kroger digital coupons account. If it had her fingerprints on it, I deleted it. I told mutuals I don't want to hear about her and I don't want her to hear about me. But of course Donna wasn't done. The first crack in the wall came through Shelby. Shelby was an old coworker of mine from a part-time job I worked in college. We'd stayed loosely connected, the kind of social media friend who likes your posts but you wouldn't recognize at a funeral. She messaged me on Instagram one evening. "Hey, your mom asked me for your new number? Said she needed it for medical stuff." That sentence made my blood go cold. I messaged back. "Did you give it to her?" She said no. Thank God. But she sent a screenshot of Donna's message. "Hey Shelby. Long time no talk, smiling face with smiling eyes. I'm trying to get in touch with my daughter. She lost her phone and didn't back up her contacts. She said you guys used to be close. Would you mind sending me her number real quick? It's kind of urgent. Red heart." So, she was lying to people I barely knew, trying to fish her way through the cracks of my life. That sent me into DEFCON mode. I texted every mutual friend, every cousin, even people I hadn't spoken to in years. If my mom contacts you, don't give her anything. Not my number. Not my address. Not where I work. Nothing. Most people were understanding. A few were nosy. One had the audacity to say, "But she's your mom." Yeah. A mom who applied for 5 credit lines in my name. Who lied about being sick. Who posted on Facebook that I was dead to her while begging for donations from strangers. Forgive me if I don't rush to repair that particular breach. The second breach was more serious. One afternoon, I got an alert from my credit monitoring app. New inquiry, soft pull, insurance quote. Now, a soft inquiry doesn't impact your score, but it does tell you when someone's using your information to shop for things like insurance, pre-approvals, or, you guessed it, loans. This one had been triggered from a site I didn't recognize. But it had my zip code, my birth date, my full name. I dug deeper. Turns out someone had been trying to use my info to shop for car insurance, possibly even a loan. And here's the thing, I don't own a car yet. I'd been saving, still renting. So who was trying to insure a car under my name? I called the company listed in the inquiry. Spoke to someone in fraud. It took some convincing, but eventually they confirmed the person entering the data had listed a different phone number. But the address used? My mom's. I felt sick. She was still at it. Still looking for new ways in. Not because she needed to survive. Because she refused to let go of the tool she'd built out of me. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a glass of wine and a pen, and I wrote 2 letters. A formal cease and desist to her house, certified mail. It stated clearly that she was to have no further contact with me, and any attempt to use my personal information would be considered criminal behavior and pursued accordingly. A letter to myself. A reminder. Not to forget what she did. Not to gaslight myself into thinking I overreacted. Not to romanticize the few good memories and overwrite the trauma. Because the truth is, Donna was never a nurturing mother. She was a charming manipulator. She'd cry when you questioned her, and laugh when you suffered for her decisions. But the worst wasn't the fraud or the family drama or even the creepy attempts to slither back into my life. It was realizing how deeply she trained me to doubt myself. Every time I made a purchase, I'd second guess it. Is this how it starts? Every time I said no to someone, I'd feel guilty. Every time I locked something down, credit, phone, location, I felt like I was being paranoid. Because Donna made me believe that boundaries were betrayal. But they're not. Boundaries are love for yourself. I haven't heard from her since the cease and desist. No letters. No fake accounts. Nothing. But I still watch my credit like a hawk. Still have fraud alerts on every account. Still pause when someone mentions their mom like it's the most natural, safe relationship in the world. And maybe that's the damage she left behind, not just financial, but internal. But damage or not, I'm free now. For a while things were quiet. Too quiet. No new credit alerts. No rogue messages. No passive-aggressive birthday cards. Donna had gone silent. For someone as performative and dramatic as her, silence isn't a peace offering, it's a setup. I didn't trust it for a second. And I was right not to. Because just when I thought the worst of it was behind me, a different kind of betrayal came crawling out of the family tree, and this one hit even lower. It started with an unexpected call from cousin Evan, someone I hadn't talked to since our grandma's funeral 5 years ago. We weren't close, but he always had a good head on his shoulders, an IT guy. Solid job, not the kind to stir up drama. When I saw his name flash across my phone, I hesitated. But something told me to answer. He didn't waste time. Hey, I know you blocked a lot of people, so I'm not sure who's been feeding you what, but I need to tell you something. And it's not going to be easy. I braced myself. Uncle Rick helped your mom open the credit card. Let me pause here and explain. Uncle Rick, Donna's older brother, is a 62-year-old retiree who always acted like the quiet black sheep of the family. Mostly kept to himself, but always popped up at family events with a 12-pack of Coors and weird conspiracy theories about fluoride in the water. Not someone I was particularly close with, but not someone I ever imagined being involved in this. She told him she'd pay it off in a few months, Evan continued. Said you gave her permission. She didn't even have access to your online info. He helped her fake the address verification. I only found out because I overheard him talking about it on speaker while I was visiting. He's not even sorry. He said, and I quote, families help each other out. She was just borrowing it until the girl cooled off. The girl? As if I wasn't the one who'd spent months untangling their financial dumpster fire. I didn't even know how to respond. I just sat there, pulse thudding in my ears. Evan sighed and said, I thought you should know. I didn't feel right staying quiet anymore. I thanked him. Genuinely. Not because I wanted more fuel for my rage, but because it confirmed what I'd already felt in my gut for months. My mom didn't just commit fraud. She had help. After that, I went digging. I pulled up the account application. Sure enough, there was a second phone number listed as the verifier. A number I didn't recognize, but after some sleuthing, thanks to a background check website and a healthy amount of spite, I matched it. Rick's landline. He'd vouched for her. Probably even clicked the verification links or called the bank pretending to be me. He had a deep enough voice to pass for a generic customer support guy. They used to joke about that at barbecues. I was furious, but also exhausted. Every time I peeled back a layer of this disaster, there was another lie, another enabler, another well-meaning relative who thought helping Donna, just this once, would be harmless. It never is. I sent Rick a message. Short. Cold. Precise. I know what you did. I flagged your number with the fraud investigator. Stay out of my life. He didn't reply. But within a day, my mom's Facebook, which I still occasionally stalk through a burner, posted a vague status. It hurts when people you trusted turn on you. But that's okay. I've got God on my side. And in the comments? Rick. Posting a single angry face emoji and the phrase truth always comes out. That's when I realized something deeply depressing. To them, I wasn't just the daughter who got too cold. I was now the enemy. The traitor. The ungrateful one. Not because I went no contact. Not because I cut her off financially. But because I exposed them. The fallout was brutal. Aunt Patrice unfriended me. Again. She's up to 3 times now. Uncle Drew sent me a voicemail calling me unchristian. Even Grandma June, who once said I was her favorite heartbeat, sent me a handwritten note asking me to consider forgiveness for the sake of the family legacy. Family legacy? What legacy? Debt? Manipulation? A chain of enabling dressed up as tradition? But not everyone turned. Cousin Brianna, the one in finance, reached out and said something that I still read on bad days. You're not selfish. You're surviving. They don't hate you. They hate that you didn't fall in line. And she was right. This wasn't just about Donna. It was about a system, a small, messy, emotionally incestuous little system of favors, lies, and guilt that I'd finally stepped outside of. And once I did, they couldn't control me anymore. So they turned on me. You'd think after cease and desist letters, legal threats, and months of no contact, Donna would get the message. But no. Because Donna doesn't hear no, she hears not yet. And when doors close, she doesn't walk away. She knocks louder. Or finds a side window. Or sets up a lawn chair and makes you uncomfortable until someone lets her in. Which is how I ended up standing frozen in the employee lobby of my office building while my mom, in full glam, purse in one hand and Tupperware in the other, tried to hug me like she hadn't committed identity fraud. Let me back up. I work in downtown Atlanta. Finance adjacent, corporate environment, ID badge access, business casual, security at the front desk. It's not a place where drama should ever find you, which is probably why it hit harder when it did. It was a Tuesday. I was headed to lunch when I saw her in the lobby, just sitting on one of those uncomfortable modern chairs like she belonged there. Her hair was done. Lipstick on. Dressed in that same fake innocent floral pattern she always wore when she wanted something. I froze. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating. She stood up like it was nothing. Hey, sweetie, she said. I brought your favorite pasta salad. I didn't move. My coworkers were watching. Our security guy, Al, blinked like he didn't know whether to step in or offer her a visitor badge. I said flatly, why are you here? To talk. We've both said things. And I figured if you won't come to me, I'll come to you. That's what moms do. I turned to Al and said, loud enough for everyone in earshot to hear. She is not welcome here. She is not cleared. She is violating a cease and desist order. Donna's smile faltered, just a flicker, but she kept it up. Don't be dramatic, honey. I'm your mother. I walked straight past her and into the back office, slammed the door, and told my manager I needed 10 minutes to call building security and HR. He didn't ask questions. He'd seen the look on my face. Here's the thing about Donna. She thrives on spectacle. She wants witnesses. If she can't manipulate you, she'll manipulate the people around you, make them feel awkward, force them to question if maybe you're the one being harsh. So when security escorted her out gently because of course she'd started sobbing, I knew the real damage wasn't the visit. It was the narrative. Sure enough, 2 hours later, my cousin Ty texted me. She just wanted to bring you food. You didn't have to humiliate her. Followed by a DM from some rando she went to high school with. Your mom is heartbroken. I hope you're proud. She'd already posted on Facebook. This time the caption read, all I wanted was to feed my daughter. Security treated me like a criminal. So many tears. But I guess love is a threat now. Pensa face spaghetti #heartbroken #stillhermum. And of course there were comments. You deserved better. These kids today have no compassion. Sue the place for emotional distress. And then the real kicker, a blurry photo, clearly snapped by herself, outside the building, holding up the pasta salad like a tragic prop in a one-woman show called Betrayed by Blood. I met with HR the next day. I explained everything. I showed them the documentation, the fraud reports, the police complaint, the identity theft affidavit, and the letter from my lawyer. They were understanding, surprisingly so. And they did something I didn't even know was possible. They added her to our building's unauthorized persons list, which means she's now legally barred from stepping foot in our lobby. If she tries again, they'll call the cops. I didn't want it to go that far. But she did. Donna didn't just cross a line. She drew a new one. And then built a circus tent over it. That night, I got another letter. Not certified this time. Just an envelope left in my apartment mailbox. Inside was a single sentence. You've chosen shame over love. No signature. Just that. Written in the same looping cursive she used on Christmas cards and forged credit applications. I stood in my kitchen holding it, shaking. Not from fear, from rage. Because I realized finally, fully, that there was no bottom with her. No act too shameless. No line she wouldn't step over and call it a hug. So I took the nuclear option. I filed for a civil restraining order. Yes, it's extreme. Yes, it's paperwork. Yes, it may take weeks to process. But if this is what she's capable of now, unannounced visits, ambushes, emotionally manipulative performances at my workplace, what would she do next? Show up at my future home? Try to crash a wedding? Show up at a hospital if I ever had a kid? Nope. I'm done giving her stage time. The day I walked into the courthouse to file the restraining order, I felt like I was dragging every guilt trip, fake tear, and manipulated memory behind me like a bloated corpse. I had the folder in my hand, over 70 pages of evidence. Screenshots of Donna's GoFundMe lies. Texts, letters, DMs. Police reports. Credit card statements in my name. The Facebook sob stories. Even the pasta salad ambush from my job. I wasn't scared anymore. I was just tired. The process was honestly anticlimactic. You file. You wait. You explain. The clerk didn't raise an eyebrow when I said, it's my mom. She just nodded, like she'd seen plenty of Donna's. The hearing date was set for 3 weeks later. I didn't expect her to show. I figured she'd play the I'm too frail and heartbroken card. But no, Donna showed up. Full makeup. Morning black outfit. Even a tissue in hand before a single tear had fallen. I didn't look at her when I sat down. The judge asked me to speak first. I did. Clearly. Calmly. Just the facts. Just the trail. And I saw it in the judge's face, he got it. He saw her. Then it was her turn. And Donna performed. I didn't know it was wrong. I was confused. I thought it was temporary. I only did it because she's always so independent, and I thought maybe I could finally stand on my own with just a little help. She used to love me. She used to say I was her best friend. She sniffled. Didn't cry. Snuck glances at the judge for pity points. And when she finally said, I never meant to hurt her, I almost believed it. But then the judge asked her one question. Why did you use her name to apply for multiple credit lines after she already helped you once? And Donna answered. Because she didn't leave me any other choice. That was it. No remorse. Just entitlement, gift wrapped in tragedy. The order was granted. 6 months minimum. No contact. No showing up. No messages, no third-party accidental run-ins. If she breaks it, it becomes a criminal case. I walked out into the hot sun, restraining order papers in my bag, and for the first time in over a year, I felt something that had been missing. Quiet. Not peace, not yet, but silence. No manipulation. No threats. No fake sob posts or letters scented with desperation. Just quiet. It's been 6 months now. My credit's mostly recovered. I finally bought that Honda. I have a new apartment in a different zip code. New number. New locks. New boundaries that don't come with guilt receipts attached. I still check my credit reports weekly. I still screen unfamiliar numbers. I still hesitate when someone uses the word mom too casually in conversation. But it's better. I've slowly built back connections with the few relatives who understood. Cousin Brianna and I get lunch once a month now. Even Evan, the one who told me the truth about Uncle Rick, helped me draft a formal affidavit for the IRS to flag my identity permanently in case Donna ever tries tax fraud. Yes, that's a thing. And no, I wouldn't put it past her. And then last week I got a letter. It didn't come directly from her. It came from Aunt Pamela with a handwritten note clipped to the front. I thought you should see this. I didn't agree with how she handled it, but I still think she's lost without you. Inside was a folded piece of stationery written in Donna's signature purple pen. I know you'll hate me forever. But one day, when you're older, you'll understand what it means to be desperate and alone. I forgive you for how you treated me, even if you can't forgive me yet. I still believe we'll talk again someday. Until then, I'll pray for your heart to soften. I folded it in half, then in half again. Then I burned it in my kitchen sink with the lighter I bought just for this purpose. I didn't cry, didn't feel angry, didn't feel guilt. I felt free. So Reddit, was I the asshole for cutting my mom off and going nuclear? Even when she swore it all came from love. Even when she said I'd understand someday. I don't know. But what I do know is this. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's leverage. And I'm no longer available to be leveraged. Ever again. ChatGPT.